Hello
Hello.
again. Well, we have a little time left, so I thought we'd pick a very short subject. Hello, Eric. I still love you, since I told you
I still love you too,
30
Mama.
seconds ago. And, we're going to try to every once in a while cover the spiritual basis of some sort of disease or disorder. So I know you can have fatigue for a variety of real medical reasons, hypothyroidism, diabetes, all sorts of stuff. But some people
Right.
just feel tired and they don't have anything wrong with them. Why is that?
He says, well, the faster and more demanding our society becomes, right? The more pressure we experience in our lives and the more quality family time and, me time, time for ourselves, it really starts to become non-existent. It's all about being productive. It's all about making money. It's all about being financially stable and basically following all the rules and regulations that society tells you to follow. So eventually we start feeling more and more crushed and burdened and squeezed into these tight little molds that society prescribes for us. He says, he's kind of showing me how they're kind of pushing people in a mold and going, there you go, you're doing great.
Human jello molds. Okay,
And
so, well,
not only that, but the busier we are, the less in touch we are with our bodies and our loved ones and our dreams and our mission for our lives. So what is fatigue? Fatigue it's always a sign that the energies inside of you, that your energies aren't flowing the way they should be flowing. They aren't flowing freely through you, but they're getting stuck in places that they shouldn't be stuck. So let's just go real quick over, because, it can have so many different reasons.
Oh, yeah.
That really can, but let's just go over a few very common reasons that most people are suffering from. First of all, she's going, step one. Too much mind, too much mind. He says, when we think about being tired, being fatigued, we usually link it to more like a physical activity. We worked too hard, we worked out too hard, we went to the gym too much. We always consider it that. But when we think too much, you have the same fatigue, you have the same exhaustion. So looking at which mental activities really drain you the most is fear, of course, being fearful, worrying all the time, anxiety, and pain. And believe it or not, but the most common one is having the thought of being tired. So let me explain that. When a poor, and you'll recognize this, a lot of people will say this, when a person says all the time, I'm tired, well, guess what? Then you're going to attract that. You get the law, the universal law of attraction, where you start to create that. And every morning you'll wake up tired because that's what you're sending out. So be careful, he says, about what you're sending out. If you're tired, find ways to refocus on something that gives you energy, that gives you joy, that gives you pleasure. Watch a funny movie. You'll feel re-energized afterwards when you're laughing your butt off. Okay, or play with the kids. See, have some fun with them.
Take ecstasy.
Or just have a massage, do some me time, figure out something, a me date where you just kind of get spoiled and relaxed and things like that. So be aware of your thoughts. Now, number two is going two. It's self-betrayal. How can I explain this, he says? Okay. When we betray ourselves, we end up doing what everyone else says we should be doing. For example, we need to stay in a job that we hate because it'll bring financial security, and what is society telling us? that we need to center our lives around buying and consuming and upgrading what materials that we possess. It's all about the materialistic right
Hmm.
now. So self-betrayal is essentially replacing our authentic needs with the expectations, the judgments, and the demands of others. And it just takes a lot of energy to be somebody that's not you. It
Exactly.
takes an enormous amount of energy to fake somebody. So, how do we solve it? Ask yourself, go inside, do some soul searching. What do I want to experience in life? Where do I want to go? And is all this bullshit, is it worth my health? Is it worth my happiness? Because a lot of people think
It
that it
never
is.
is. It never
Trust
is.
me, it is not. So that's number two. A lot of people are doing this. At least 90% of the population is doing things that are not for them, but is really for other, to kind of score points
Mhm.
in something that, that they're losing in anyway. So doesn't make any fucking sense to
No.
me. But hey, there you go. Be yourself, people. Be yourself, and you will be a lot happier and a lot less fatigued. I can guarantee you that.
Right.
Now, another one, and I think a lot of people are struggling with this one as well, is a lack of clarity about why you're really here. What's my mission? Right? A lot of people are feeling lost. And so when this happens, there's two yous. Let me explain that. There's a physical you, and he says there's a spiritual you, an energetic you, right? And when those two yous are out of balance, you get all whacked up and your body doesn't know what to do anymore, and it just starts absorbing a lot of negative energy. It gets completely out of whack, and it creates fatigue. It creates feeling lost. It creates all
Yeah.
kinds of negative emotions. So see if there's a way that you can calm yourself down, that you can kind of bring your awareness to now. We talked about this a lot, Mom, but trust me, mindfulness really creates happiness and creates a healthy body. So is that meditation great? Is that yoga great? Is that kickboxing fantastic? Whatever it is that you need to do to kind of bring your focus in the now moment, where you're solely focusing on what you're doing now. And then what you'll do is you'll start getting more clarity in the mind. You'll create more space in the mind. And then while you're here, those answers will be answered. You'll get insights. You'll get connection to your subconscious, who knows exactly why you're here, where you're going, and what you should be doing.
Plus,
So
plus you said in a previous session, Eric, that breath work can get you in the now. Because when you are aware of your breathing, you are definitely in the
right,
now. So
you're
maybe
in
there's
now.
books or guided meditations or breath work. I don't know. Are there things like that? Or do you just have
Yeah,
to
I mean, it
lay down?
doesn't matter as long, I mean, you could be mindfully driving your car. What you're doing is you're just focusing on you in the car and the traffic. But what most people do is they're driving their car and they're thinking about what they all have to do and this and tomorrow. They're worried about tomorrow, and they're worried about what's going to happen in 20 years and what's going to happen in Korea and what's going to happen. That's the whole thing. We're constantly in the mind, and we're not in the now. We're always in another space. And when if you want to connect to spirit, if you want to know what you're doing, if you want to feel if you're on the right track or not, then we need to contact the subconsciousness. But the only way we can get there is by bypassing the conscious and to be really in the now, because the conscious mind is always in the past or in the future. It's never in the now.
True.
So if we can align those two, if we can align the conscious mind with the subconscious mind, then you will get the information through very easily. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. So in a nutshell, when we have this kind of fatigue, what is our spiritual body trying to tell us?
Our body is trying to tell us that there's something not right, that you're off track, or that you're too focused on what other people want, you're too focused on what they think you should be doing. So for everyone out there who has this kind of fatigue, that they can't figure out there's nothing physical, I'm not sick, who just feels tired every day, stop for a minute. Examine yourself. Try and see where this fatigue is coming from. Is it because I'm not on the right track? Is it because I'm doing things that I hate every day?
Yeah.
Is it because I feel like I'm not doing what I should be doing? figure it out. Everybody's going to have to kind of go deep. This might also be something emotional, unexpressed thoughts, unexpressed emotions, not dealing with grief the way you should, not dealing with certain emotions. If we are supposed to be grieving and we're just blocking it out, then you're not processing that information. And when that's not being processed, that takes a lot out of your energetic body, because it needs to be processed. Sometimes we need to grieve. It needs to be processed.
The only
So
way through grief, I understand, is to lean into it and get through
sometimes
it.
it's trauma, childhood trauma. If we're hiding from it, if we're trying to forget about it, then your body is like, no, it's still there. It's still there. There's this energy that's just stored there for years and years and years, poisoning your body. There's so many different reasons that can cause fatigue, because it's on a cellular level. And it's about the energy that's basically being sucked out of the cells, because we're not energetically in balance with ourselves, with who we are, with what we're doing, with how we're processing things. So take a close look, people. Sit down and take at least 15 minutes a day to just breathe, to just be present in this moment, at this time, and just kind of release all your expectations and all your demands and all, stop being you for a minute and just become one with the universe for 15 minutes a day. And I can guarantee you will already feel instantly better.
Well, do some people, for some people, would cognitive therapy work to try to get through those emotional issues?
Yeah, whatever needs to be done. If it's energy healing, if you're really just feeling drained and you can't seem to find anything, you're doing what you love, you're having fun, you love your family, there is no trauma, then maybe try some energy healing. If it's really trauma, see if there's anybody you can talk to about it. Make sure that you trust that person. Make sure that you really feel comfortable with that person. It's in so many ways. And stop lying to yourself, people. Stop lying to yourself. I am happy. I swear. I got money in the bank. I hate my job, but I'm happy. Stop lying to yourself. Be honest with yourself. If you hate something, change it. If you're not comfortable in a relationship, change it. If you're not comfortable in, with your roommate, move. Do what you need to do so you can experience a joyful life instead of constantly being restricted by fears and other people's, negativity.
Is there any way that sometimes this could come from another life, and maybe regressive therapy might help?
It can. It is possible. Then we're really talking about chronic fatigue. Then we're not so much talking about general fatigue. We're talking about chronic fatigue. That can really be from past lives that people are kind of carrying in trauma or carrying in certain negative energies. Then I would really suggest, if you can't connect to spirit yourself, to either go under hypnosis and see where the problem started and how we can kind of cut the ties to that. Because if it doesn't serve you in this life, then you do have the free will to say, you know what, I'm done with that. That was that life. I don't need this in this life, and I'm taking distance from it. You do have the choice to do that.
Sure. All right, so you say that it's because energy is not flowing right and it's trapped in areas. How can we get the energy flowing? I know some people do like this body work method called the Grinberg method, but of course there are other things. What's the best way to get that energy flowing besides doing the mindfulness, of course, and all the other things you talked about?
Well, yeah, number one is the mind. The way we
Right.
think of things will, of course, help us with the energy. However, crystals can help you as well. Amethyst is really good at getting the energy flowing back through you freely. It also clears a lot of the negative energy. And sea salt. If you put sea salt underneath your bed, people, what it'll do is while you're sleeping, it'll absorb all the negative energy out of your system. And so the energy can then flow freely back, through your system. Energy healing, like I said, just having fun every now and then, just letting everything out.
Well, what kind of energy healing do you think is the best? Sorry to interrupt, but I know you already talked about the fun thing, but what kind of energy healing works?
It doesn't matter. Whatever works for you. Whatever works for you. A lot of acupuncture is he talking about is also really good to restoring energy flow to the
Oh,
organs.
okay.
So that might be another one that he's saying. Um, this is also a really good one. He says there are these places where you can like float in seawater,
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
right? And they put you in this capsule, is what he's showing me. They put you in this capsule, and it is, you are floating, you are completely weightless, and it is so relaxing.
Mm.
Your mind, all you can do is just focus on where you are, and it just brings you to that point where you're one with the universe. And so many people are, have benefits from that. Increasing the oxygen in your circulation will also help you to loosen up a lot of the blockades in your system.
So maybe
Eating healthy,
hyperbaric oxygen treatments. There
right,
you go.
right, and eating healthy.
Hmm.
Um, the way that we feed our energy is through food, through water, and through oxygen.
Right.
So by adjusting your diet, you can also allow the energy to flourish again in your cells, and therefore the energy will flow a lot more freely through your body.
Okay. I got a personal question. For some reason, over the last couple of years, uh, I have a hard time getting up at a decent time. It's like I just feel so groggy. I just want to stay in bed and sleep. And I just force myself up, and then I'm just groggy for a little bit, and then eventually you know, I'm okay after a cup of coffee. But I used to get up early, go on rounds in the hospital, all that stuff. It was no problem. I was an early bird. What is going
Right.
on? Is something wrong with my sleep architecture? I know this is boring people because it's all about me.
No, well, he's saying a few things. He's saying, well, he's talking about your routine before you go to sleep. He's making me feel like there is alcohol
Oh yeah, I
involved.
have, I have my couple of glasses of red wine
I don't want
every
to
night,
step on
and I watch
anybody's
Netflix.
feet. Yeah, I don't want to step on anybody's feet, but he's making me feel like,
I mean, I get to sleep fine.
yeah, but the alcohol, it's like the alcohol gets into your system and it's just sitting there all night long, and it just,
I felt like that was true.
it
Maybe I just need
makes
to stop drinking my
it takes the energy out
tequila
of the cells. It
glasses.
takes the energy out of the body. And he says, I know you're not going to stop doing it, Mom.
No,
I know you're
I don't want to
stop
feel
doing it.
so
And I know
groggy.
you like wine. He says, I know you like your wine.
It's my one
But
guilty pleasure.
what alcohol does is, it takes a little bit of an impact on the body, and so
Yeah.
the body needs to drain more energy from the cells to kind of deal with this, with the alcohol in the system, to process it and so on. And so all night long you are processing this alcohol, and it just makes your body tired because your body has to constantly work while you're sleeping. It's working
Okay.
to kind of, so the only thing he says, I don't, you can drink all you want, but a couple hours before you go to sleep, at least 4 to 5 hours before you sleep, you should stop drinking alcohol, and
Oh,
kind of replace it with eating bananas, or eating a banana, or milk, or things like that, to kind
okay.
of settle the stomach. You need to have a little layer on your stomach,
Okay.
and then the stomach basically falls asleep while you're sleeping. And when the stomach sleeps, the body rests as well.
Ah, okay. Anything else you want to say about this whole subject, Eric? That's good advice. I knew that was probably it. Drinking too close to bedtime.
Yeah, it's just your body's working to process it.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I'll start drinking in the
Uh,
morning. No, I'm kidding.
He's like, well, no, just, I think what people need to understand is that they're in control of their health. They're in control on how they feel. So figure out what the problem is, and try and find a way to process it, so you can continue to have a healthy, energetic body. Because think of it, as kids, we're like, yeah, we go crazy. Every morning is a happy day. And the older we get, the body gets kind of worn out, and energy, it loses energy because our diet becomes less. We're rushing to eat. We're rush, 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 rush. We don't have a lot of time. We got to work.
And we
We're
wear
constantly,
out. We get old.
Yeah, I mean, there's a constant rush, you know. We don't take our time anymore for things because we're in this society, high-paced society, go, 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 go. So we also bring that home, and then once we're home, we're like eating fast, trying to get everything done, and we got so much work, and we can't get it all done, and stress, 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 and that results in fatigue, unfortunately.
That's
So
true.
take some time, people. Find Get a date with yourself at least once a week where you could just let all the responsibilities go and just be you, you know. So find a routine that you can do your rush 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 stuff, but you can still have your lay low downtime, kind of healthy. Okay, we're not talking we're not talking about doing unhealthy stuff, but just
No.
kind of relaxing, letting your body settle, and don't feel guilty when you just spend a whole day watching TV in your pajamas. Okay, it's fine,
Oh,
people. We all need a slackers day. Okay, we all
that's true.
need it.
That's true.
So it's okay. So don't
That's
feel
true.
guilty, because once we feel guilty again, then guess what? Boom, you're attacking your energy,
That's
and
right.
there we go again. It's
Self-sabotage.
a vicious circle. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. Take time for yourself. I love you guys. So love yourself enough to take care of this beautiful vessel that you chose out to live out your whole life. So appreciate it. Be careful with it, and just be happy.
All right. Good to end on that note. Thank you so much, Erik. I love you. Thank you, Emma. What you got to share besides your website, www.emmanuelmacintosh.com? I'll put it up here. Tell me.
Well, I guess I do have some classes that are on learnitlive.com. If you type in my name, you'll see the classes. They have been recorded, they were live, but all classes are recorded, and you can order them and rewatch them as many times as you want once you've paid the one-time fee. So check it out. There's a lot of cool classes on there.
For example.
For example, mediumship beginners class. I have a
Oh.
class on autism,
Ooh.
which is especially great for parents with autism. I have a class on how to meditate, and a lot of group readings where I think there's a lot of information that everybody can get something out of.
Yes. Yes. That sounds awesome. All right, check her out, guys, and also go to www.channelingerik.com to check out the blog. Try to start from the beginning of the archives because there's a lot of fascinating material there, and check out other YouTubes. Bye,
All
Emma.
righty.
Love you.
Hi, guys. Erik is on. I love you, Mama. I love you,
Love you.
everyone. Peace
Bye.
out.
Peace out.